So recently there was a report from Digitimes claiming we could see the MacBook Air with the M2 chip launch at the spring event. Now I did dismiss this report mainly because Digitimes is not a very credible source, but now we have a way more credible source also claiming the same thing. So let's delve into it, but first make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumours, and with that being said, let's just talk in. So the source in question is someone from Weibo. Now this source was actually the first source who told us we would see a notch on the 2021 MacBook Pros, and this did sound pretty crazy at the time, but of course it did end up being true. We did see a notch on the new MacBooks. And so in a similar way, this report also kinda makes no sense, but considering how credible they've been in the past, there is a fair chance this might be legit. So what exactly do they tell us? Well, the base MacBook Pro with the M2 chip is gonna be near identical to the M1 model. And so yeah, that means we're gonna see thick bezels, an LCD panel, less ports, and also a touch bar instead of the function row. Literally, the only change is gonna be the M2 chip. This is gonna offer a higher clock speed than the M1 cores and slightly more GPU cores. But yeah, that's about it for the changes with this base Pro. So yeah, that's all the tidbits, and to be honest, I'm still confused as to why Apple's making this Mac. You see, this won't really be a Pro machine because it won't have mini LED, it won't have thinner bezels, it won't have more ports. All the benefits of the new MacBook Pros isn't coming to this model, so what's the point of releasing this Mac? And also, like I've said in previous videos, do remember the MacBook Air is going to see a major overhaul with a new design, also mini LED, and so again, this more expensive base MacBook Pro is going to pale in comparison. And yeah, with every other MacBook getting a new design, I don't see why Apple's not giving the same treatment to the base Pro, because it's going to look pretty odd in the lineup. And talking about odds, the touch bar staying on this MacBook also makes no sense because Apple clearly wants people to forget the touch bar ever existed, and so the best thing to do would be to remove it from the complete lineup. But no, instead the base model, the cheaper variant, is gonna have the touch bar, but the higher end versions are gonna stick to the traditional function row. And yes, I know the touch bar is a con to some, but do note, this at the end of the day was marketed as a feature for the high-end Macs, and so I do think it would be pretty confusing for regular consumers that the base Pro has a touch bar and the higher end models don't. And I know that some could argue that Apple's giving you choices, and those who do prefer a touch bar do get a new Mac, but really Apple never gives us choices. For example, when they killed off 3D Touch, they did not bring it back to some models, it was gone forever, and those who do prefer the tech kinda have to move on. And so I do think it's gonna be a similar case with the touch bar on the MacBook. But anyways, another reason why I think this makes no sense is obviously the M2 chip. I just don't see Apple releasing that before they finished updating the higher end models, since again, to average Joes, M2 is going to seem better than the M1 Max, because 2 is a higher number than 1, even though we know that's not the case. And so to avoid that confusion, I do think it makes way more sense to release all of the M2 Max all at once at some sort of October event. So yes, I'm still very confused about this, and I'm totally aware that this could be a very easy Mac for Apple to make. That's possibly why they're releasing it next month, since everything but the chip's going to be the same, but that, again, makes no sense, especially when the M2 Air is going to see a massive refresh. And yeah, to be honest, Apple should just kill off the base MacBook Pro, because I do think the M1 and the M2 Air should basically be perfect for most Mac users. So yeah, those are my thoughts, and while I could dismiss the report, it's coming from a credible source, and so yes, I'm not sure whether to believe this or not, but tell me your thoughts guys in the comments below. Anyways, thank you for watching guys, make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumours. Check out the video linked above on details regarding the iPhone 14 series, and on that note I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya peeps.